I know a couple people are.
We are live. Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Monday. It is January 27, 2025. Just in case you didn't know the date for today, very excited to be here with you. Just trying to get my camera to be in the right screen as I froze. Anyway, want to say hello and welcome you all in. For those of you who are tuning in right now, I'm going to introduce myself and then, of course, I'm going to turn it over to Kitty while I go and make sure that we are streaming where we need to be streaming. And I feel like we're still skipping a little bit, somewhere a little bit, maybe. Anyway, whatever the case is. So I am Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Clone, the founder of Holistic Fitness and Why. I am your holistic personal trainer, holistic integrated teacher, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, and card reader. And I'm very excited to be here. We will be streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So if you're on any of those platforms, please go ahead and share out, say hi to us. And Kitty, go ahead and introduce yourself as I go ahead and make sure we are streaming where we need to be.
Well, that's good because I'm meanwhile trying to get us shared out too. I'm Kitty Budwig Foss. I'm the storytelling astrologist, reader of the stars, and Joanne and I often come on to play. And tonight we're going to be talking a lot about the Aquarian / Pisces kind of energy that is hanging out right now. And so, you know, it's quite the time for us to be around and doing things because we're looking at a different flow.
And we are all getting prepared. We're literally sharing out, which is why all of a sudden we all got really, really, really quiet. So anyway, for those of you who are here, you're going to start to see us popping up all over the place as we're all sharing. Let us know that you're here as well. And then we're going to get this party started in our conversation for this evening because there's a lot to cover as usual. And those who are watching from Facebook, when you are here with us, hello there, I am. Let us know that you are here. This is an opportunity now, if you are on Facebook, to go ahead and share it out. When you share it out, please go ahead and say that you shared it out so we know that you have. Because we like to know that this is flowing through, because that's how this is going to keep going. We want this live to sort of stay alive. And the only way that happens is through the algorithm of sharing, commenting, and liking. So besides sharing it, also take a moment to comment. You can comment just by saying hello, or you can make some comments regarding the conversation that we're going to be sharing tonight. We want you to be engaged with the conversation. When Kitty and I come together, we do play and we bring insight. Thank you, Anne, for sharing. I appreciate it. We bring insight to the table, and we do this so you guys can be more in the know of knowing what is actually going on. And I find it's helpful when we all actually know what's going on. So I'm just sharing it out to one or two more people, and then we're going to get serious and give all of our attention to all of you.
So I'm realizing that, Joanne, I need to have you join my new public page to see if I can share from there, because I have to go and sign in on my alter ego personality, Amy Martin, so that I can actually share it out. I'm in a Facebook not flow glitch. Been there since November 3rd. So, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, so let's take a dive into this conversation for tonight in regards to, and I didn't write down the title. So, Kitty, what's the title of our conversation?
What does uncovering flow mean?
What does uncovering flow mean? Now, if I can actually read this later, I will be really impressed because I just literally scribbled across my page.
So we had Mercury enter Aquarius today. Well, it's entering tonight, actually. 8, is it 8 or 9? 9:53 p.m.
It actually entered Aquarius already. It was this morning.
No, p.m.
You sure? I could have sworn I saw AM. Did I misread that?
I'm looking at it.
That is so funny because I was. Be nice if I was on the right calendar day. Oh my God! I saw it as AM. It's 9:53 p.m. I really do need to put on my glasses for the small
Well,
stuff.
I had to even squint a little with my glasses on to make sure that wasn't an 8.
Yes.
And so we're sitting here at the 29th degree of Mercury and Capricorn. And Mercury and Capricorn is a funny combination because Mercury is all about experience. It's all about how we communicate. It's all about polarity. And here's Capricorn. Capricorn is all about our structure, our potential, our taskmaster kind of energy. And the two together are by nature a little combative. And so as it sits here resetting the karma about how we communicate in our structures, how we experience our structures, getting ready for what is the vision of that. And see, we have Venus sitting in Pisces, and we have a lot of getting ready for this 12th house energy, getting ready for the flow. And it's in the process of being uncovered for us. So this is kind of an energy for today, because as we're at this structure, that we're getting ready to move into the vision, how do we flow with what is seemingly kind of out of alignment with how we want to see our voices, how our structures are put together, the bigger picture of what's going on, how distracting so many things are happening right now. And it's easy to think that you're flowing, but you're really getting bombarded. So what does uncovering flow really mean in this kind of energy? Interestingly, tonight, too, are this moon energy, which is also in Capricorn, is really taking a look at intuitively, are we dealing with the structures we want to deal with? Are we looking at this potential? And tonight at 11:52 p.m., there's this opposition with Mars. Mars that's in this pivotal energy of, how do I align my will? How do I nurture this? How do I deal with this structure? So there's a lot of this energy that, people say, go with the flow, let it go. Well, what the hell does that mean? I mean, really, when things are so, you have a lot of Pisces. Pisces, first we go through the vision and then we try to flow with the vision. So that's one reason why this time becomes kind of, we got a Cazimi getting ready to go on in Aquarius. And a lot of visionary, revolutionary energy. Not quite a Cazimi, but getting there. So
exactly. And when we speak about the energy of the 12th house, as Kitty's saying, as it is the Pisces energy as well, and it is about how do you go with the flow of things. And my answer to that question is getting more tuned and in tune with your intuition, because your intuition will be able to guide you to what is the next best step to take and what direction to take it in. So you don't get overwhelmed by all the outside energies and distractions, so to be, if you can just learn and ask your higher consciousness, ask yourself, does this serve me right now to do X, Y, and Z, and then go with it. Do not double guess it. Because I know that there's many of us who we check in on our intuition. Our intuition tells us something. And then what we'll go and do is we'll go and pull some cards to see if we get the same answer. We gotta give it all this. Why? Why not accept the answer that was given from your intuition in regards to what direction to actually go in and lead to? Well, so really learning how to play into that energy of being more in flow. And interesting enough, and I don't know if Kitty saw this earlier. I don't know if anybody saw it earlier because I think it was actually knocked off of Facebook because I didn't realize my music was loud for Facebook to hear it. But I decided to go to a live, and my introduction of my live was based on dancing, moving my body, being in the motion of things. And I probably danced for about 3 minutes with music on. And then all of a sudden I get a message from Facebook that my live is going to be stopped because of playing music that I did not have the rights to play. Like I said, had absolutely no idea that the music was even loud enough for Facebook, for my computer to pick it up, since the music was on a different device.
Well, that's kind of what this flow is about, is that we are also in this new, whatever you want to call it, earth version, level, pick one, and
dimension, it's all the same, right?
And we still are in this vacillation between figuring out what we're leaving behind, what we're taking with us. And so following your intuition might not seem as forward as it once was, because you're kind of sorting things out. And there's a lot of going with the flow is letting go. I don't have to do this anymore this way. That's a different way, and what is, again, that's why vision comes before you go with the flow. This is a period of time where we can experience, where we can really think about what is it I really want, and not with all of the pieces of the yeah buts. Yeah, well, if I could, and then start to really, this particular time in lining to uncover is, what am I already doing that matches that is that, and kind of magnifying that energy so you can figure out what to let go. So I got a story, Joanne, to share. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
So yesterday I was going for a walk, and there was, I'm going to call it a hawk. It could have been an osprey, but pretty sure it was a hawk, but there was some black and white, so not 100% sure. And I was watching it fly, and it became two birds. Now, my first thought was, why is my vision doubling? Except that it was completely separate birds. And so I made sure I checked around me and looked, and nothing else was in double vision. And it wasn't that it was like coming together, going apart. It was two birds flying parallel, and then all of a sudden it was one bird. So I said, okay, is there another bird there I'm just not seeing? And then as Spirit does, answers my question by the bird comes closer, clearly one bird. And then all of a sudden I see two birds again. So I thought, well, maybe it's the angle of the sun, which is why my eyes are separating. And as if to answer my question once again, Spirit. Now I'm walking with my husband, who's, I don't know what he's talking about, because I'm up here watching all this. And it went on for quite a while. Another bird joins in the same, and it's very clear that that's a single bird. And I kept seeing two birds, and then it was one. It wasn't two birds and then it faded to one. It was two birds for quite a while flying together, like on top of each other. And then it was one bird. And I watched this for quite a while. I'm like, okay, well, Spirit, you answered this. So this is something that they're showing me. And I was very aware of that. What you're talking about with that intuition is that, I can let go of that. I have to find a logical explanation for this, because this is about the fact we are in two worlds at the moment, and figuring out what it is we're taking with us and what we're leaving behind. And it was it's right up there with driving through the rainbow that I've done. That day I drove through the rainbow. You heard about that for a long time. And like, wow, that I'm seeing two birds in two different worlds. It was very clear, because even the single bird that was flying with it never was in two different worlds. That bird I could see, and there was probably about 8 inches between them. And I'd see them flying for a while, and then all of a sudden it'd be one bird. So I think that that's what part of the flow is. As we look at the vision, I'm like, yeah, I'd love to see that I'm getting this message. I'm going with the flow means I don't have to explain it, jade it, make it anything, just absorb it right now. There's a lot of that energy, what does uncovering flow mean? Flow for me looks very different than flow for you. And being willing in this kind of, it's not kind of, this energy that is kind of stirring all around us, what will flow look like for me today?
Yes, yes. And when you think about birds, birds are a great symbol, and also what's the word I'm looking for? Message of freedom. So the freedom of being in your flow as you're in your flow. And something that we all have the ability to pay attention to is, as we move more into flow, letting go of what we really don't want to hold on to, as we move into this new vibration, we have the freedom to decide that we don't need to take the stories, the luggage, the baggage with us in this new vibration. There's absolutely no reason to take anything that we don't want to take. Now, the big question, and Kitty and I were talking about this before we went live, the real big question is, if we are ready to let go of all the baggage of our story, how are we going to identify in this new vibration without our story? Which then means writing a new story for yourself, as opposed to constantly telling the old story that, believe it or not, gets pretty boring after a while.
Well, and that's really the uncovering. It's not a straight line.
No.
It's uncovering. When you uncover, throw off your covers, sometimes they get caught. As you uncover, it's being very present, very much what's right in front of me right now in this moment, and making a decision about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's this is why we're in this kind of visionary energy right now. And, you know, we have Pisces, our Venus in Pisces going with the flow. When does the retrograde for Venus start?
That doesn't start until, oh my God. I want to say, well, in March 1st is when I think, I actually think it's March 1st, now that I think of that. Yes, retrograde in Venus is March 1st.
And we have this week, we have Uranus coming direct. So that internal chaos, that internal awakening is now starting to bring more and more things to us as it's getting ready to go direct again. And so we are uncovering, we're uncovering in this awakening, which is rather chaotic. What is the vision? Here we have the sun in Aquarius. We have Mercury. Our ability to communicate it and experience it is being heightened as of today. Mm-hmm. How is this moving forward? And then we have Pluto, who is transforming this, uncovering for us right now in that transformation so that we can get ready to flow with it. This is kind of a practice time, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Yeah, it's definitely time to pen to paper, or crayons to paper, or markers to paper, or pen or paint to paper, whatever it is, and really start figuring out what the vision is. What is your next vision for yourself, for your career, for your relationships, for your health, for your wellness? It's all different compartments that every one of us has the ability to create something different than we had before. It's not just one big chunk of whatever. It's like, how do you want to envision the relationships you have with all the different people you have relationships with? How do you want to envision your career, your soul's purpose? What does that look like? And getting full detail. How do you want to envision the healthy version of yourself? Where, again, like Kitty and I keep saying, you don't have to bring the pain, the illness, or disease into this next chapter. There's no reason for it. We can literally start reprogram this. Last night I was on a recording that will actually air, I believe, on Wednesday, and we spoke a lot about mindset, like literally learning how to shift the mindset, changing the mindset of what we tell ourselves constantly, and do we need to tell ourselves that anymore when it comes to our physical body, and doing the work behind it. Because again, this is not about just saying, okay, I visualize my body being strong and healthy, and there's no action behind it. There's got to be action that goes upon whatever the vision is that you're looking to accomplish.
Right.
We have to do the work behind all of this so we can actually eventually see it in our reality. So it's not just a whole bunch of mantras and affirmations that we're writing down and wishing and wishing and wishing, and then wondering, well, what's going on? When's it going to show up? It's going to show up when you take the action for it to show up.
Right.
You know, and that's the big part of it, is being able to allow ourselves to have this vision and to move into this different energy. And I love the fact that just as Uranus is going direct, we don't have any of the outer planets in retrograde anymore. We just really now have Mars and Venus very soon in retrograde. So just the two of them are in this little dance and doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Even though it's a little dance, there's still a lot of work going on behind the scenes between both Mars and Venus, the masculine and the feminine energy, in regards to the doing and the resting. The doing and the resting. So this is...
Well, it really does feel like a time to do, rest, and readjust your picture, your vision. Vision is about what you see, what you feel, what you sense. And especially with this Aquarian energy in Pluto, getting in these there's a lot of things going on, 29 degrees and going over those 0 degrees, resetting the karma around it. And because we're using energy from ways that we've been before, we get to play with it. This is a great time to play. Is this really part of my... Get out of the seriousness of it. I mean, to be able to say, you know what? I decided I don't want to do it that way anymore. So what can I uncover that has a belief that I can let go of, or a place I don't think I'm enough, that I'm taking this belief with me in this moment? So it's a very magical time to take a look. And it's hard not to get distracted right now.
Exactly. And when we think about Venus and Mars, Venus, of course, being all about our physical body, with the help of Taurus and Libra, our physical body and the relationship and agreements we have with our physical body. And then you have Mars, which is that Aries energy of the I am statement, of like, what action are we going to take in regards to our I am statement, in regards to my I am to my health and wellness. Because I truly believe, and I know this mantra has been alive for quite some time, and I've been speaking on it a lot, is our health is really our wealth. And it really does stem down to, what is that vision for you? What does that look like for you right now? So you can be healthy enough to do whatever it is you want to do. Have the energy to withstand the energy that our planets are working with us on, where we are going through this sort of like back and forth, this vision, this opportunity, all this Aquarian energy. I know I've been saying to Kitty for probably back in December, even November, when I started realizing all this energy was highlighting my natal chart, these quote unquote returns that I'm experiencing, and how it's lighting me up and charging me up, and how my visions are looking very different, and how I see myself as I'm moving forward. So again, a perfect opportunity to really start asking, what does uncovering flow mean for you? How can you bring yourself in a state of flow? So life doesn't have to be hard. Relationships don't have to be hard. Health does not have to be hard. Your career doesn't have to be hard. Nothing has to be hard. If you travel, travel can be easy. Travel can be easy. It's the mindset of moving into that. We're going to move into flow. We're going to be flow. Setting the intention that everything is just going to be in flow. Simple, easy.
And as you uncover that, you're, again, what somebody else thinks as flow isn't necessarily what I think of as flow. And you're right. Letting go of beliefs like life is hard.
Yes.
Really? Does it have to be? Who said?
Well, we've been programmed to believe that life is hard. We've been programmed to believe that when it's snow outside, it's, oh my God, it's snowing. Everything has to shut down. For those of us who live on in areas when we do have snow, nothing shuts down when it snows. We keep going. We go with the flow. Literally speaking, we go with the flow. It's like, okay, well, if I can't do it this way, I'll swivel and go this way. Learning to go with the flow so we don't get so turned upside down when something doesn't work the way we thought it was going to work. Like, all right, so I'll do it this way instead. And just being able to navigate it in that sense. So whatever flow means for you, using these two powerful zodiac signs, Aquarius and Pisces, because I would say I was actually doing some math last night. Not really math, but numbers. And I was evaluating like how much energy based on our air, our water signs, our earth signs, and absolutely no fire signs, other than if we start talking about the planets, how much energy we have, where we literally will have, as of tonight, we will have 4 planets sitting in Aquarian energy. Talk about all that thinking and evaluating and thinking that we're going to problem solve. Right. And then 4 planets sitting in Pisces, water energy, the emotional state, the intuitive state, let's move into a higher consciousness state. Let's move into a space of, let's get in touch with our feelings. Go with the flow and get in touch with your feelings. And then we have, we have actually 5 planets sitting in water because we have, of course, Mars sitting in Cancer. So that's our other water sign. And then we have 3 planets sitting in Earth. So getting ourselves more grounded so we can be more able to be flexible enough to move into a different flow, a state of mind.
And our one asteroid that is fire, Chiron.
Yes.
Is the fire of starting, is figuring this out, is taking off your masks, is really looking at what are you uncovering? What does flow mean to you? It's all right, whatever your definition is.
Yes. And for that matter, with only, as Kitty pointed out, with only Chiron being in fire, this is a perfect time to light your fire within. Like, what brings more joy and flow into your life? Light that up. Bring that into your life. Bring that energy and create it into your deepest desires. Use this Aquarian energy as your vision. What makes you excited? What gets you up in the morning, jumping out of bed and looking forward to how the day is going to unfold for you so you can move into flow? Mm-hmm. Again, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be sad. And definitely doesn't have to be anger.
No.
We can move this all in a state of, let's find some joy and fire into this energy. Why not? Why not embrace that?
Right. You know what? Again, there's a lot of things about it. Comes down to you and me. And in order for me to understand and to act, I have to understand what it means for me to flow. Is flow going along to get along? Is flow about I don't feel enough, so you become more important? Or being a good person becomes more important? Is flow about me telling you what to do? All of these things people will put under flow. You and I have talked about this before. They just tell it like it is. They only tell it like how they see it, and it doesn't mean that's not how they see it, but that doesn't mean that's what it is. Might not be that for you. So what does uncovering the flow mean to you for your own flow? Some people's flow is out in nature. Some people's flow is reading a book. Some people's flow is doing exercising. I would say exercising for all of us is a piece of flow, and how you do your exercise is a real personal thing.
Yes.
So,
yes, again, as everybody knows, for me anyway, for women over 40, exercise needs to become more of a conscious behavior of flow, where we're literally allowing ourselves to be more in flow with how we do connect with our physical body, so we can be stronger and healthier as we get older. It's not necessarily a vanity thing. I know once upon a time when I first started in my journey of lifting weights, starting as early as 12 years old, but more or less in the ages of, let's say, my teens to my 20s, when lifting weights was more of a vanity thing. It was more like, I want to look good as the summer gets here, so why not? Now it's more of I need to be healthy. I need to be able to know that I can climb a flight of stairs or walk down a flight of stairs without my knees hurting. I need to know that I can walk several blocks to a mile or more without my hips hurting. The mindfulness of how we bring this into flow, that can then also generate the ability of just building a stronger foundation.
mm-hmm.
and recognizing that, especially in the energies we're in now, with our North and South Node being Pisces Virgo, this is really a time where many people are reflecting on how can they become healthier? How can they become healthier? What is that looking like for them? What is their menu going to look like? When I use the word menu, it's not related to food. It really is related to what does that vision look like for them so they can be healthy? What little tools do they need to incorporate into their everyday so they can be more in flow, preparing for flow, so they can feel good about being in the body they're in, so they can be more in flow. Because when we don't have pain, when there's no illness, and when there's no disease flaring up, our body's in flow. And when our body's in flow, I would sit back and say that that's a pretty good day when we're feeling in flow with our body as well. So whatever that looks like, uncovering it at this time, utilizing all this energy as we move into, I know we just started the Aquarian season, but a lot of this is about the Pisces energy that we'll be moving into and how to bring this all into flow, recognizing the different planets that are going to be playing together with that Pisces energy.
In brand new ways to think, and this Pisces energy is completing the year, which it always does, a year of very much a dive into who we are and what we are, and getting ready for a really, really big shift in the energies. With so many bigger themes shifting and two big players starting brand new cycles, and Pluto already in that cycle. The flow that we're getting ready to experience, and right now we get to kind of play with, is really setting us up for the message of action that is coming. This is about action. And in order to take action and be comfortable, know thyself, to thy own self be true. And so you can leave. There's a lot of permission to leave things behind right now.
Yes, lighten the load. So this way here, as we do move into this ability to do things differently, and all this, as we keep talking about Aquarius, Pisces. But once we start moving into the Aries energy, it is going to be more about what action can we take? How can we pick ourselves up and do things where we don't have all this quote unquote baggage where it's like, and everything's so heavy. So this, as Katie said, this is like our practice season to see how great of shape we can get into. When I use the word shape, meaning mental shape, emotional shape, physical shape, and spiritual shape. So we have the strength to push through all of the Aries energy of what action, how are we going to show up as leaders, how are we going to show up as being the boss, so to speak. The boss for ourselves, not necessarily the boss to somebody, but the boss for ourselves. What are we going to allow ourselves to really say, okay, I need to show up for myself every day. And one of my favorite books, been talking about it a lot in the last couple of weeks, and it's so funny because I actually read it like maybe 3 years ago. And I'm speaking about it now. Excuses Be Gone by Wayne Dyer. It's a very powerful book because we don't realize, and I didn't realize it when I was reading it, that how often we make excuses to ourselves for why we're not doing something. So again, this is a perfect time because once we do hit this Aries energy, it really is the perfect time to I have to show up for me. And if I'm making excuses for myself, how am I going to show up for me? How am I going to show up as that leader? And being the leader means that, at least for me, people, and I said this last night in my live as well, people rely on me to show up. As whether it's the holistic trainer, the Reiki master, the astrologist, people rely on me to show up. So if I'm not showing up for me, how the hell am I going to show up for them? So it's the consistencies, the discipline, the determination, the motivation of this practice that we have now to make ourselves healthy enough so we're not sitting out on the benches because, oh my God, I don't feel well because I brought in old energy with me. This is your time now. Put that old energy down. So you're not going to be sitting on the benches. I remember, short story, I remember when I was in high school. Forget what year it was in. I think it was my 3rd year of high school, or even might have been my 4th year of high school. And it was my 4th year of high school. And I must have had literally four lunch periods. Who the hell needs 4 lunch periods? The reason why I had 4 lunch periods is because in my last year of high school, I basically completed all my academic courses, and I really my schedule was like I had to be in the early morning for one class. The other class that was mandatory that I needed to take was the end of the day, and then I had my dance class that I had to take. So I had this gap of time that I didn't have anything to do, and I wasn't allowed to leave the building because once you're in the building, you're in the building. So I had gone to the teacher in the weight room, and I asked him, I said, look, I have 4 lunch periods. I don't need to have 4 lunch periods. I would love it if I can come in this class and you could take me on as your student in this class where I'll get a credit and I'll have some place to go. First of all, his answer to me was, well, you don't need gym, which is why you don't have gym on your program. I said, this is not about a need. I don't need 4 lunch periods neither. I said, so how about we make a deal? If I can convince my counselor to put weight training on my program, then I can come into your class and take weight training. And he says, well, okay, if you can convince your counselor, then we'll put you in the class. He goes, however, I do not want you to come into class giving me excuses to why you cannot participate. I don't want to hear none of this BS, and he didn't say it like that, about you got the cramps and this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing. And I said to him, I said, oh, I promise you, I will not come to class telling you I cannot participate because I have cramps. I tell you that I'm going to come into this class and I'm going to probably outdo every one of your male students in this class. I want you to be here. Most of them don't. So I went down, spoke to my counselor, my counselor asked me, why would you need to be in a weight room class if you don't need gym? I said the same thing to her. I don't need 4 lunch periods neither. So I need to be somewhere. So why not put me someplace that's going to be productive for me? Because I have to do this at the end of my day anyway. So long story short, counselor agreed. I came to my class every day as scheduled, did what I was supposed to do. At the end of that semester, when the teacher was giving out the grades, he had to make a whole big speech about in all his years that he's been teaching, he's never given anyone a grade higher than 80. Most people got like 75, 65. He goes, never in my years have I ever given anyone a grade higher than 80. He goes, this is the first time I had the pleasure to give somebody 100. And the whole class knew who he was talking about. I knew who he was talking about. And the reason why I bring this up is because there he was saying to me at the very beginning, oh, you're not going to come into my class and think you're going to sit on the bench. I'm like, oh, no. I know I'm not coming into your class to sit on the bench. I want to do those pull-ups. I want to do the leg press. I want to do the bench press. I have a goal to why I'm in this class and why I'm not looking to sit in lunch for 4 periods. Who has lunch for 4 periods? So again, what is your vision?
Talk about overstimulation. I don't like lunch for 1 period, let alone for 4.
Exactly. I didn't even eat lunch in the lunchroom for my 1 period I had lunch. I would go into a different class. But again, it's in our control to create the vision that you wish to have and uncovering what flow means to you and bringing things into flow. I believe it's going to be an extremely fun time once everything sort of settles. Once, of course, Mars finds its way back into Leo and moves out of Leo and starts moving more into the other signs. I think things are just going to get a little easier. I know that Kitty's been talking about it once Jupiter moves into Cancer. That's going to be a lot of fun. So there's going to be so much flow coming in. Why not start it now? Why not set that vision up now for that flow?
Well, and I think it's a good analogy you made about if I want to be here and I want to do this, then let me show up. And the days I don't feel like showing up, then take care of myself. I am choosing again to take the break, not in, oh my God, I'm just so over. And I've done it recently. Oh, I just don't want to do it. Then don't do anything. But if it goes on for days and days and days, you have to look at it.
Yes, Kitty and I have a very different, how do we measure that? A very different perception on that. Whereas again with her, when she doesn't want to do anything, she doesn't do anything. Me, my day is, I have a routine. I have a routine that keeps me in flow. And even my naps are scheduled in my routine to keep me in flow. And again, as I mentioned,
that's how you flow.
Yes.
If you're fighting with yourself, you're not flowing. So this is a natural part of Joanne. I'm going to do this. I'm better with the schedule. I feel better than to sit there and do, for me, when I don't feel like the schedule, then I honor that. But that's my flow. That's what I uncover.
Exactly. And plus, in theory, I don't think many people would really like me too much if I don't stay in my flow. Because that's what keeps me sane, keeps me kind, keeps me laughing. When I'm not in my flow, I'm not so happy. So I think it's perfect. Kitty, you have your cards?
That's what I'm getting, is a set of cards.
All right, let's pull some cards. Let's see what we need to know so we can help everybody stay in their flow.
Okay. So I've got your cards out from earlier today. So I'm not going to use those.
Okay.
And
that's a good plug. As Kitty mentions my cards, and I have my card. For those of you who are interested in getting my cards, you can get them on Amazon.com. Long ass name, people. Kitty, you can show it on yours. Take the booklet out of the box, because mine will get all frozen from the thing. There's the name of it. Yes, people. Chakra Balance, Numerology, Cosmic Energy Forecast Deck. Don't ask me what I was thinking about when I even called it that. I don't know.
And it's not like she's only got one name either that you can search it under. So, there it is.
Yes. And for those of you who are interested, just an FYI, if you rather not,
the front one says "Listen, Truth."
Look at that. If you rather not have the card deck in your hand, there's an app called Deckable. You can actually Google it, Deckable, and I have my card deck on that app that you can actually purchase my deck through that app, and then you can play with it that way. So whichever way you like, if you're more of a techno person and you don't like to feel the cards in your hand, go check out Deckable. I'm on there.
Very first card is what we've been talking about, the undercurrent, the flow, and the piece that we were just talking about. Feel at peace with whatever your flow is. It isn't anybody else's flow. And when you sit there and you have people saying, well, you got to do this and you got to do that, just nod. Just nod and say, thank you for your input.
Exactly. And I'm loving the two cards that literally flew out my deck as Kitty had her two cards. I'm going to show the first one. It's in reverse. Whoops, there you go. Here we go. It's domestic harmony. And that too, when we think about domestic harmony, it's about bringing more flow into your home. I always say home is not just your shelter, it's about your body. When you have peace and calmness going on in your home, your body feels good. When you have peace and calmness going on in your body, your home feels good. So the combination of both. The number 22 is, this is your time to build this flow into your life. This is your time to build the flow into your life. The turquoise energy is very much associated with the Mercury energy of communication, what we're looking to speak, what do we need to say, what are we saying to ourselves? It's the most important conversation we need to pay attention to, because what are we saying to ourselves so we can be more in flow? And then the other card that popped out was powerful. Recognizing, when we talk about powerful, recognize that your internal dialogue is very powerful. So you have to start checking in, paying attention to what that internal dialogue is. Because your internal dialogue is the very thing that's creating the lack of flow. So if you're not feeling as though you're in flow, pay attention to what it is you're talking about. Also, yellow energy is about your intuition, which is what we've been speaking on. Trusting your intuition. 44 is that balance. And that 8 energy of this is the abundant time to be in your space of flow. That's what I have.
You can't make this up. So the other one that came with it was release expectations, let go, and trust. Beautiful picture if you can see it. Their feet are looking at the water. And by the way, this is from the Awakening Avalon by Jeanette Biro, one of my favorite decks. But I'm going to read it. I don't always read what is written, but this is, and I love the fact that you got that 44 yellow, trusting your gut, because that, of course, is the solar plexus.
Yes.
Release expectations, let go, and trust. Goals help us focus and reach farther. However, there are times when goals and expectations can limit your expansion. This may be due to a set view of how it should be, or an idea of what you feel you must accomplish to be successful. You are being encouraged by Spirit to check in if there may be clinging to expectations or beliefs that are no longer aligned with your true path. Take some time to reflect reflect on what your expectations are aligned with and which aren't. Surrender those that no longer serve you or may be extremely externally imposed. Trust the universe has your safety in reach and can deliver beyond what you can imagine. What expectations can you let go of for flow?
There you go. I love it. I love it. So
Yeah.
again, we just want to shout out to everybody who came tonight, sat with us for a little while, or still with us. We thank you. We appreciate your energy. We know that you could be doing something else. If you have not already shared out our live, please go ahead and share. If there's anything that Kitty or I can help and serve you with, feel free to reach out to us. Both of our emails are floating on the very bottom.
Oh, I need to give you a new one too.
You have a new email?
Storytellingastrologist@gmail.com.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Because again, besides all this energy of bringing things into flow, this is a really important time for either rebranding or branding who you are in regards to your business. Every one of us, as we do move into this Aries energy, and we have to do it before we move into the Aries energy. We don't want to wait until we're in Aries energy to really start defining our branding and who we are and who we serve. We have to do that now. That's why this vision is so important. We need to really get into that space of who do we want to serve? Because I don't know about Kitty, but I know for me, I want to make sure that I'm standing in front of the right audience and exerting my energy and time and wisdom to the right people. So if there's anybody who is in the audience that's not vibing with me, kindly just slide yourself away so it makes space for those who are vibing with me. And I say that with love. I don't say that with disrespect. Maybe you're not vibing with me right now, and maybe as time goes on, as I always like to say, the universe may bring you in front of me again because there's something you need from me. Sometimes we sort of are our worst enemies, thinking like, well, I don't want any of that. I truly believe that when the universe brings us together, there's work that we need to do on both parts. It's not just about me doing for you. It's about I'm learning something from you as well. So rebranding and branding, and I'm loving the fact that Kitty has a new email address, and I'm sure she's going to be shining her light, spotting her light. Kitty, since we're here, let them know, because we have spotlight interviews coming up this week from the Cosmic Evolution Summit. For those of you who've been paying attention, we have the Cosmic Evolution Summit coming up again, the second one. First one was back in October. And before we dive into the Cosmic Evolution Summit, which takes place on February 16th, we have a week of spotlight interviews. Every one of the guest speakers have one day where I spotlight them, and I do a Q&A with them to get to know them personally and professionally. And Kitty is one of the guest speakers. Again, she was in the first one. She will be spotlighted next Saturday. What time, Kitty?
I'm looking at my calendar. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, so by all means, we will be, as of right now, I'm believing that we're going to be doing the spotlight interviews through StreamYard. I might change that up and do that through Zoom because it just might be easier to go that way than this way. We'll see how it flows. We'll see how it flows. But that will be starting up as of February 2nd through February 9th. I believe we're skipping one day. I don't remember what day it is. I think it's Tuesday. And I will have each of our guest speakers coming and being spotlighted. And, of course, come join us on February 16th from 10:30 a.m. to about 7 p.m. Eastern Time throughout the day. There will be 30-minute breaks, which really isn't a break. It's 30 minutes where we go off air just so we can all do what we have to do and then come back. It goes really quick. And Kitty, do you remember what time you're speaking at the summit?
No, but I can look.
Okay, that's good. Because I don't have any of that paperwork in front of me.
I 5 to 6.
There we go. Yes.
And my subject is the plot twist of your story.
There we go. Yes. So if you'd like to come and join us in the Zoom room for the summit, please reach out to us because that Zoom link will not be anywhere on Facebook. It's only going to be delivered out to those who will be attending, which means an email has been sent out. I'm hoping all of my guest speakers sent out their emails, letting all their friends know. So we'll have a nice group of people in the Zoom room, and it will be a great day. And then, of course, we have the Cosmic Evolution panel discussion, which will take place on February 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with all of our speakers there at that night. That's a Saturday. And
yes, I don't have that one written down, so.
No, you don't have that. You should have it in your listing because it was definitely sent out in the email. Just that there's no flyer for it yet. I figured that I was confusing some of our guest speakers with all of the information I was sending to them, that it was overwhelming them. So I was like,
well,
okay.
And I'm like your little lost child in that I can't join the Facebook page because of my Facebook status.
Yes. Well, interesting enough, I have you and one other that was having some issues with Facebook Messenger as well. So I had to send her and you the information separately. So it was like, I said, this would just be easy if everyone just checked their emails. But, everyone has their own preference. So I had to move into flow. I have to keep it easy for me. So anyway, Kitty and I say thank you. We appreciate you, and we'll see you again. We'll be back and share some more insight, wisdom, and of course, she and I will come and play. Till we see you all again.
Joy, there's enough. I'm not going to use the word. I keep looking. There's enough disruptions out there that you can tap into the joy where you are right now, not about what could happen in the future at the moment. Believe that if you're needed to do something, you'll do it.
Exactly. As they say, reality of it all is yesterday is gone. Tomorrow will take care of itself. And all you really have is right now. So if you only have right now, why not fill it up with joy? Do things that bring joy to your heart. Bottom line, we're going to leave it there. We'll see you next time.
Namaste.
We're going to do our ending song, ending dance. Boom, 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 boom.
Yes.